How do you know what you know? How deep do you know what you know? How much do you know what you know? What do you know? How can you really explain it? Do you think you know things or do you repeat things? Do you understand it? Are you able to distill? We've heard the word lately grok. Grok, which is the new AI and AGI, or theoretically AGI uh, platform of Elon. And to grok was a term popularized by Robert Heinlein in his science fiction novel Stranger in a Strange Land. And it refers to understanding something intuitively or empathetically or deeply, to comprehend it completely and holistically. The term implies not just intellectual understanding, but also a deep and profound emotional connection with the subject or concept. Often, I guess, suggesting a emerging of identities or a complete and profound assimilation of knowledge or experience. Now, Musk, as you know, has utilized the term in his speeches, his interviews. He's referred to Grok, emphasizing the importance of deeply understanding complex concepts and technologies to make informed decisions and the like. And that's why it is so critical for us to grok, to understand what something really means. And that implies oftentimes not saying anything, not responding, not even feeling ready to come close to opining about something. That will never happen in the world of social media. Social media does not work on silence. There is no such thing as one of these iPhone data references where they say, your earphones have been up, your earbuds have been too high, you've been too loud, it's been too. There's no such. That doesn't exist. Okay, that world doesn't exist. This idea of that's been too loud. And what is the most important, and what's the most important for people to understand and to grasp and to understand thoroughly and completely and totally and absolutely, is that we don't win in the world of social media by keeping silent. We don't. In YouTube, there are folks who spend so much time specifically dealing with, and this is important, so much time dealing with, when should you post? Do you post too much? Should you wait? Don't. I mean, this is if you want to get listeners and everything, or viewers. And they always talk about not saying too much, not overwhelming, not deluging the audience. But when it comes to social media platforming and what we go through, especially when there's any kind of conversational talk, it's just yammering. It's just this tsunami of observations with no grok, no understanding, no anything. And the complexity is mind-boggling. And what is happening today, a year from today, is the election. And the implications of this are beyond anything anybody has ever even imagined. So, my friends, I say to you right now, please do me a favor. Please make sure you are logged in. You please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button. Make sure you are aware of this. And before we begin, I want you to listen very, very carefully to our noted and noble sponsor. Dark clouds are gathering as markets shudder. Stocks are sinking, currency stumbling, fear and uncertainty reign. The Middle East, Ukraine, Taiwan, the debt, it's endless. Yet one asset stands firm: gold. In crisis after crisis, gold is there in the background. Its enduring value guards against loss, like a missile shield against incoming. While paper wealth burns, gold persists. Shield your savings against looming threats, war, recession, contagion, and avoid the frenzied panic of the unprepared. Take control in the chaos. Fortune favors decisive action. Get hold of gold now before it's out of reach. And right now, Noble Gold Investments offers a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with every new IRA. Claim your free coin today to secure your financial future. As this new storm gathers, panic looms. And some of the places you were thinking of for your money, well, they don't look so clever anymore. Secure your future against disaster now. Open a Noble Gold Investments IRA and claim your free bullion coin today. Go to LionelNationGold.com. That's LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com, the only gold company I trust. And remember, there's always a risk of investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. 1 year from today, it all changes. 1 year from today, it's the most important time. Donald Trump could be replicating history by being the second president in American history to win 2 non-consecutive terms. The second president in American history to win 2 non-consecutive terms. Now, to grok, to think about this, what are the questions you have? Number 1, can he get a fair election? Number 2, will they steal it legally? Number 3, is he handling this the best right now? Number 4, what are the Democrats doing? Number 5, who will be the likely Democratic nominee? Number 6, how are things changing constantly? And by the way, this is changing constantly. I'm looking at the top of the mountain. I've got the binoculars. I'm seeing the enemies coming here. I'm seeing our support, our forces. And it's changed since last night. Here is today. Here's the weather. Here's the movement. Here's what's happening. This is what's happening. It is changing constantly. How are you able to assimilate all this information? Who is able to tell you? Not as to what you want to be, but what will happen. And we also have to find that there are people in the world who just we don't have time for because they really don't care. And that's fine. And listen, free country means you have the right to look the other way and not pay attention to anything anybody else has said. You don't have to be a part of this. You don't have to care about what's going on in the world. There's nothing wrong with that. That is completely up to you. You may do that. Don't think you have to do. But please separate yourself from that. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about this, which is so critical. And I'm telling you right now, yesterday, when Trump was speaking regarding this particular judge, everybody thought it was great. Everybody thought it was terrific. I'm thinking, wonderful. Could you please perhaps say something to the rest of the world regarding anything involving a worldview? I know I'm wasting my time with this. Would you please tell me something other than the fact that you are being mistreated, that you are being unfairly treated, that they don't like you, that they are afraid of you, that you offer this world opinion that is so great and they want to destroy your family and here's your lawyer. By the way, she was very, 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 very good. Alina Haba or whatever her name is. Very good. That's wonderful. What does that matter? I don't know. Is this judge biased? This is a non-jury trial. Why this judge? If I were this judge, I'd say, please, Mr. Trump, read whatever you want. I made up my mind. Go ahead. I'd like to read something. Please put it on the record. Go ahead. There's no jury here. There's nobody to be. I'm the trier of fact. Please go ahead. I mean, it's obvious. Don't say anything about Letitia James. Move on. Call her a hack and all that. You may love that. Americans may love that. Fox News may love that. To me, so it's a total waste of time. You've got a year from now. A year. You understand this? A year. Number 2, as I've been telling you, to grok, if you will, to understand intuitively, empathically, intrinsically what is going on in the Middle East, you must understand something which is very, very critical, very, very important. And that is that there is a calculus that you must grasp. A fascinating article, which I commend to you. I'm going to give you this. This was in RT. I think Alex Jones reprinted it. It is just superb. It's from Scott Ritter. And please read this. And what it does is it talks about the U.S. and Hezbollah want the same thing from Israel-Hamas war. And they talk about the dueling speeches show this notion of the escalation ladder. One of the most interesting aspects of this, the escalation ladder. Hezbollah and the U.S. Look at this article, again from RT. How Western propaganda has rebranded Xi's dead former ally as an unlikely dissident. A new law is about to kill free speech and democracy in Australia. Australia, who knew this would make Canada look like? This involves something called a, dare I say, a European aspect. I have a friend of mine who, it's funny, they fancy themselves as European, and they have this idea that they are sophisticated, and they always say, well, we're European. We're really, people think we're European. And I said, European? Yeah, I said, there are 44 countries: Belarus, Albania, Moldova, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, Kazakhstan, Slovakia, Serbia, Andorra, Montenegro, Ireland, San Marino, Malta. They have no idea what you're talking about. That's just like the Mediterranean diet. What Mediterranean diet? No, I don't. What Mediterranean? Mediterranean, olive oil. There's no olive oil there. What are we talking about? Anyway. But there is a European way of thinking, because when you look at the globe and you see the globe and you see this is our side, and it's very, very simple. It's just North America, South America. It's basically us. And then you turn the globe over and you go, whoa, look at all these countries. Can you see? Oh my God. I know it's a bit blurry, but look at that. Oh my God, look at all those. And because of that, they sense, their sense of grokking is a kind of a unique coordinated form of this versus this. They understand how one country affects the other, not the United States. We live in this kind of a bubble where what we say goes and that sort of thing. And what I've been telling you is that October the 7th is going to change. It has changed everything in terms of the identity of the world and the identity of the country and what is happening regarding everything. And yet, I listened to my good friend Mark Simone yesterday, and he had a fellow named Michael Goodwin. And Michael Goodwin, I think Pulitzer Prize, I don't know, but very, very renowned commentator. What was he talking about? Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas, they're bad people. Bad people. Okay. Bad people. Yes, bad people. If you want to understand what Israel, Hamas, Palestine, what this means, you cannot be a part of this country's dynamic. You cannot be a part of this country's worldview, because there is no, it's simian, it's childish. There's nothing there. Okay, we'll move that. Next, recently there was revealed this trans killers manifesto. Please do not call this a manifesto. You elevate the psychotic ramblings of a murderous, rapacious killer. You elevate it improperly. You give it credence. You make it sound as though it is something that it is not. And what you do is you are giving it more. In any event, it's like who was this Majeski or whatever the mad bomber who wrote "Stop Me Before I Do This Again." Remember that? That's not a manifesto. And the reason they don't want you to do this is that they don't want you to say that there is something wrong with this. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that trans people are, by nature, mentally ill, or that it is an illness? It is a pathology. Do you believe that? Of course you do. You have to. You can't possibly live, especially in this country, and not believe that it is a pathology. You will be run out. You will not be thrown the football at a Sean Hannity studio audience. You will lose your transfesto. I like that. You will not lose, or you will lose your particular position. You can't think that. You can't. You can't. You are not allowed to say, "Oh, no. It is merely a version of reality." Okay, fine. What if you went to a doctor and said, "Doctor, yes, I cannot feel the right side of my arm. I mean, I see it, but it's almost like phantom pain, sort of. I see it, but I don't recognize this. I think this is a foot, and I'm okay. When this may look like a hand to you, but to me, it's a foot, and I'm learning how to pick things up with my foot. But this, I'm able to function. I can drive. I drive with my foot. My hand is my foot. Now, do you think a doctor would say, "Well, that's just normal," or would the doctor say, "Well, this is obviously a neurological aberration, but what it is, interestingly enough, what it is it's kind of harmless, and there's some other people who feel the same way." Right. So when somebody says, "I feel, even though I have the genitals or the accoutrement, the equipment of a woman or a man, I feel like I'm something else," wouldn't that qualify as some kind of an aberration, some type of a pathology, one would think? Or would you say, no, that's merely just an alternative way of thinking? I think, the argument can be made that no, it's a pathology. It's maybe blue eyes are pathology. Maybe in some respects, having blue eyes in some particular parts of the country or very, very light, pale skin is a detriment, because if you have thin, Icelandic, Antarctic, pale skin, and you live in the equator, this could be a problem, even though there are people who have this elsewhere. Does that make any sense to you? Okay. So what they're trying to do is, and one of the things which is the most interesting, is that they're trying to get you away from the idea that there is anything in any way even remotely abnormal, aberrant, or aberrant, not welcomingly beauteous about this thing called transgender. Now, I tend to think that by virtue of its rarity, by virtue of its infrequency, that it's something that it's kind of moot in many respects. It's kind of moot. It doesn't really apply. But nonetheless, it's sort of important, I guess, in a kind of a strange way. It's sort of important, but what are you going to do? Doesn't really matter. But that's why they want you to stay away from that. That's why. And going back to what I wanted to tell you, who was it who broke the story? Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder was a guy that they have been trying to clobber since day one, because he might have said some terrible things about, or might have used jokes that Dave Chappelle uses, Bill Burr, whatever his name is, uses, others. And then there was even this time when Candace Owens who is, as you know, the biggest phony of them all, trying to land on a trying. She will be anything, say anything, and it's a gig. And you have to understand it. You have to understand the show business part of this. She will land on any flower there is to see if anything takes off. Anything, whatever. So she went after Crowder a while back because of the thing with his wife. I don't know what the hell happened with that, but she went crazy. She went after Megyn Kelly. I mean, she's the heel. She is so pro wrestling, it's not even funny. But she gave Crowder a lot. Crowder is very, very important. Crowder, and again, Crowder is like Talking Heads, the New York Dolls, CBGBs, Max's Kansas City. That may not be your musical cup of tea, but that was critical in changing the platform and the horizon of news and the like. That's what Alex Jones is. That's why Alex Jones is so critical. Alex Jones is so critical. And he is somehow formed or whatever it is. So this information came out through Crowder. Not CBS, not whatever, but through Crowder. And you're going to have to know where to go to look for this stuff. And when you find somebody whose message is that of not information, but enacting the role. And listen, the Pragers and the others, that's fine. Listen, I dig whatever, but understand what the angle is. Do you know this group? You probably have never thought about this. Do you know this group? Her name is Amy Robach and TJ, LJ, whatever her lover was. They were on Good Morning America. They were forced to leave. Okay. Watch them try to redefine themselves. It's fascinating. I love to see how people try to redefine themselves in terms of the platform. Look at what Meghan Markle's doing. I know you don't care about it, but you're missing the point. You're missing this as an observer. I want you to grok this. Barry Taylor says, if another news network mentions a history of Israel, they should be forced to move to Kensington and live off banana chips and beef jerky. Barry, you are so funny. Kensington, by the way, is a little neighborhood outside of Philly that is just ground zero of complete shite. Look at where the new news is coming. Look at where the information is coming. To grok, to understand. Let me tell you this word again, why this is important. Listen to me very carefully. To grok is a term from Heinlein, and it means to understand something intuitively or empathetically, to comprehend it completely and holistically. The term implies not just intellectual understanding, but a deep and profound emotional connection with the subject or concept. This is what I want you to understand. This is what we're about here. This is what we're doing. I want you to really get it, really understand it, grasp it. And sometimes looking at something and saying, this story may in and of itself not be the most exciting, but by analogy, I can connect it elsewhere. Okay, now you tell me, make sure you are, again, always, 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 make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are liking what I'm doing. And by the way, speaking of banana chips and speaking of pasta, the most obvious thing to me that makes sense is to be able to prepare yourself in the event of you need food, you need water, you need energy. Something is going to go wrong. And you know it, and I know it. And years ago, they used to call these people preppers. Like, oh, you're crazy. You're a tinfoil hat. Well, you know what? Not so much. Not really. And that's why you should listen very, very carefully to our sponsor, preparedwithlionel.com. All right, fellow patriot, let's talk about My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company. And it is more than equipped to stock your shelves in times of emergency. You can ditch the canned vegetables in the box, pasta and the banana chips and the jerky. Their best-selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. Now, these meals offer over 2,000 calories every day with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready to go in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat, then eat. Start or strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. So go to preparewithlionel.com to get ready. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to say it again. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now. Now, indeed. Now, a couple of things which are important to understand as well. None of these other problems, the detransitioning. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned this thing about Dennis Prager or PragerU, and Dennis Prager, personally speaking, is just full of it. But this is some very good stuff here. And PragerU has something called Detrans, the dangers of gender affirming care. Detrans apparently is a voice to detransitioners who were told they were born in the wrong body. I think this is very, very important. So good for them. Just because somebody's full of shit doesn't mean that they can't, say something correctly. And he is. Oh, I will never. I'll tell you a story about him. We were on WABC, and he came in, and he was, Mister. I'm, the moral paragon, and I can spot phonies. I can spot a phony, and this is the most important thing in the world. And this guy is just because his whole thing is, I don't ever. My message is not about me. It's about the message. It's not about, well, I'm a family man. I believe. It's about the information. Forget about me. It's about the information. It's about the critical part. Yeah. We can talk about stuff, but it's about the information. I want to give the information. I want to teach. I want to train. I want to learn. I want you to learn how to grok. Now, the next story is Elon Musk. This is so important. Malcolm X. The other day, somebody took a Malcolm X quote. And Malcolm X quote is something about the media are responsible for whatever it is, some form of I don't know what the particular word is. This confusion and distortion. Yeah. Okay, fine. Well, he was saying it then, and we all know that. But right now, we're in the beginning of something which is the most important. We are in the middle of something which is so critical, so important, and so wonderful, and that is the ability for you to dedicate yourself to new forms of media, to new levels and platforms, if you want it. If you want it. See, it depends. How you view information is up to you. Some people love to eat very plain things on a regular basis. Trump is like that. Very plain things. McDonald's, hamburger, that's fine. Nothing exotic. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're not going to go into a weird form of cultured growth. No. Other people love different kinds of food and different kinds of all kinds of, what am I trying to say? All kinds of fascinating food stuff and stuffs, so to speak. Okay. I want to always look at news and information as new data to get a better understanding, a better take, so I can understand things better. Sometimes it might involve history. Sometimes it might be going back. Sometimes it might be going back to LBJ. Who knows? I don't know what it is. But we cannot do it merely by watching the same people over and over again and saying, yeah, that's the way it is. I can't say that part enough to you, and I can't explain that enough, but it's absolutely positively true. Okay? But let me put it into perspective. One of the things which is so important so monumentally important, so critically important, is that when you go out there in the world, you're able to discuss this and you're able to sit there and say, I want to spread the truth elsewhere. And that's why it's important for you to go on social media. What is your predominant level of social media that you are on? Let me ask you right now. What are you? How do you get your word out? I am a Twitter person. I put out my I do my regular private channel, which I go into much greater detail. I can be far more what am I trying to say? Far more brutal. I have been absolutely this is the private channel, by the way. I have been merciless regarding our mayor, who makes me disgusted, and he has to be stopped. But what is it? What is your? How do you get the word out? Uh, me banned from Facebook. Okay, no social media for me. Not good. How do you get your word out? What is your platform? How do you speak to the world? What do you do? Facebook and Instagram reshare. Is that really important? That's better than nothing. Telegram and friends in the world. Telegram is great, by the way. Telegram is wonderful. Great. That's where you get some really good stuff to an extent. To an extent. How do you get the word out? What do you do? This is important. I want to know. Tell me. What is it? I gave up years ago. People hate truth. No, see, that's a cop out. Sorry, Eric. Doesn't work. No, 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 no. See what we're doing here? Facebook art groups. Okay, that's good. At least there's something. How do you get the word out? How do you make an impact? How do you reconstruct, reorient, refocus the truth? What do you do? What is your take? How is your voice heard? It's not. Private channel, same stuff. Come on, man. See, this is good. What do you do? What do you do? Please tell me. Focus on yourself. How do you make a word? How do you make your message known? How do people know you're alive? How do people? I go to neolib channels to share my mind until they ban me. Okay, that's all right. Hire George Soros to get his minions to spread the word. Okay, funny. It's a stab at humor. What do you do? Twitter. Thank you, Steve. Twitter's critical. What do you say? Do you say or do you repeat and retweet? Used to do a podcast, Freedom Forward, which focused on prepping, then received nasty Facebook messages. Now I just spread word of mouth at happy hours. J6 has scared me. Oh, no, 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 no. Receive nasty messages. So what? So what? What does that mean? Well, I don't understand. Don't be afraid of that. Do you know what we've been through? You're not going to let anybody stop you, are you? X is still new to me since exiled. I left Facebook. Okay. X is the way to go. What are you waiting for? How do you put words out? How do you challenge people? You have the chance to go on and to take some of the biggest, quote, names in the world, and you can directly address them on X or Twitter, whatever it is. And you don't do it. Why don't you do it? Why? Why are you happy with just sitting back? I use X, very good. When you use it, do you just read it or do you actively participate? Why are so many people who are, and please don't take this the wrong way, smart ass, smart alecky, quick with a report, with a repost, quick to the with the response? Why is it that when it comes to themselves speaking out to the rest of the world, they don't say anything? Why is that? Banned from Twitter in 2020. Are you back now? Are you back now? Have you tried now? How is it there's so many of, and again, I'm looking at, just to give you an idea, these are the people who are the most vocal now. Most people who are reading this, watching this later on, they're not reading nobody's reading the live updates, which is fine, which is fine. Nobody cares about this. But the people who feel like, oh, no, I'm stopping what I'm doing and I'm going to participate in this now, have no other interest in anybody place else. X can cross hashtags. I did that on Facebook in the Trump and Brexit online wars, okay? Because we get canceled. May friend, we get canceled. Do it again. What are you so afraid of? Why is there such scaredy cats? Come on. I'm banned from Tweety too. You're banned? Well, what are you saying? Afraid. This is laziness. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm banned. I don't wanna. Come on. This is the biggest cop out I've ever seen in my life. The biggest, the loudest opinions when it comes to live stuff. You could be making an impact on the world then by sharing your brilliance, and you're not. YouTube warned me not to comment about Einstein's equivalence principle on 9/11. Okay, and what? And what? What happened? What do you think? What do you think happened? Tell me. They canceled you or warned you, and what? I just don't want to be harassed online. What? What is so wait a minute. The world is falling apart. The world is collapsing. Everything that we know to be true is under attack. And you don't want to be harassed? I don't want to. They're going to say nasty things about me. And I just don't. Odyssey Grand Theft World, I listened to a guy that's a forensic historian and another guy that's a professor in logic. They connect all the people together and show us how this was formed. What do you do? Not what do you listen to, what do you say? Silver Fox says, I attended several Trump rallies in 2020, then J6 happened. What they did to those folks scared the shite out of me. I'm admittedly gun shy. We're not asking you to go well, thank you for that. I'm not asking you to go to rallies. I don't blame you for not going to rallies. I wouldn't go to one either. Why? Too many people paying no attention to what's going on. Yeah, I'm talking about you. What are you doing? Well, I don't want to, I watch this guy. I go to locals. I get Substack. I read. I'm not asking you what you read. What do you say? All my life, I've lived in a world where we couldn't say anything. We had to just pretty much wait for the letters or the editor, or maybe we had nothing. I was one of the few in the country during the 80s, during the burgeoning period of talk radio, to go on commercial or talk radio. It was the most incredible thing in the world. It was fascinating. I've watched my comments change instantly. And why does Facebook give me warnings when I share your wife's content? Lynn's Warriors. Because we have been, and we have been shadow banned. Facebook in particular does not want anything to be done regarding sex trafficking and human trafficking. Oh, they hate this. Libs of TikTok, the young lady, I can't remember her name right now, but she's just one of the boldest, incredible. There are so many great people out there really making impacts. And I can't believe how you could sit back and say, well, you've got in your phone the chance you can connect with anybody. If the president of the United States says something, you can pick up your phone and answer it correctly. Social credit score, question mark. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What are you guessing? Does that work? No. You don't want to talk to the president. You don't want to go after Rob Reiner or thank somebody. How is an American that lives in this world of free speech so complacent and so willing to sit back and just say, I don't know. You know, they warned me one time. I was on TikTok and they told me, and that's it for me. Whoa. What? I'm going to plug my nose and go to a Republican Party meeting tomorrow. That might be one of the most important things in the world. Now, let me tell you what Republican parties do. Republican parties are one thing, Republican clubs are another. The clubs are a waste of time. They don't do anything. They just sit and they talk and they pretend to be cool and that sort of thing. But I am shocked. Get this great, Caitlin Johnstone writes these wonderful, great articles. A wonderful work. Why aren't you writing articles? Meta, umbrella company for Facebook and Instagram, are the ultimate censors of social media. And what? And therefore, you don't respond because why? Thinking outside the box requires you to understand where the box exists. Yes. What you're telling me is nothing. You're not scaredy cats, are you? I will say Republican and Democrats are done, finished. Okay, fine. Yeah. You're telling me that, and that's great, and all that stuff. And we're talking here within the safety of this and talking to other. But what are you doing? Thank you for promoting me, Mike. But what are you doing? What about Mike Chauvin? Chauvinism. Why don't we hear what you have to say? How are you so complacent with sitting on your hands and not screaming to the world what you think? Why? Do you feel you're not smart enough? You're not eloquent enough? You don't know enough? How is it that you have this device in your hand given to us by God, nature, happenstance, luck? Your fathers and nobody else has ever had this opportunity, and how you can sit back and not say anything. You can sit back and not say, I'm going to say something. This is my town square. I'm going to say, I took a picture of this. This is what I see. To form a momentum. This is the problem with the country. This is the problem. I tell everyone in person, I don't hold back. Oh, that's nice. How many thousand people do you see a day? None. You don't see 1,000. You may see 5 people. You can hit at least 1,000 every single day. We get canceled from family and friends. It's lonely fighting this war. Wah, wah, wah. It's so sad. They're mean to me. My family cancels me. Oh my God. The old days of, just think of these people who fought these brave and brilliant, from Emma Goldman, whether you like her or not, people who, Cesar Chavez, go down the list. Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Dr. King, they're mean to me. I'm not going to go have a dream speech. I can't even go to my Thanksgiving. I wore a MAGA hat and they yelled at me. Wah, wah, wah. What a bunch of, well, there's a feline word. It rhymes with wussy, but my God. Do you have any idea? I'm sorry. I am shocked. For 30, well, yeah, I guess 85. Yeah, 35 years. We just, I mean, we went out and we did stuff. Friends and colleagues of mine on TV, on radio, whatever it is, we got fired and shut up. I mean, just you have no, I'm never going to go through, I'm never going to explain this, but you have no idea. And it never even occurred to me to say, well, I'm going to be quiet about this. What? You're going to be quiet about this? It's the most incredible thing in the world. Look at this. I had to limit my online time at this forum because I would otherwise not be getting anything else done. The internet is addictive. No, the internet is not addictive. It's not addictive to me. The internet? No. No. The internet? You mean like TikTok and things like that? No, that's not addictive. Information is. I could read all day long. I would love to just read and just watch. I watched last night, I got into Sidney Lumet, who I think is one of the greatest directors of all time. And I learned he was the director of Network. And Patty Chayefsky, who was one of the most brilliant screenwriters, and I listened and I learned so much about formula, kind of trying to frame opinion and that's addictive. Yeah. Reading books are addictive. Yeah. You see what we do? See the excuses? Oh, I can't do that. I respond usually in coded language, so the algorithm doesn't pick up a certain word. Part of the social media censorship and postings. Yeah. Okay, fine. Nobody's fine. What are you doing to get the word out? Here's your X channel. What are you saying? Let me see your channel. Show me what you've written in the past. I love when I go, my favorite is first thing we look is they haven't posted in 2 years. Or some people might do. Substack is terrific. I know there are some people, I'm not going to mention her name, but one's a young lady who I'm so impressed with. She is the most vociferous, the most involved, the most engaged person you've ever seen in your life, getting the word out. And if she were here right now, she said, "You're addicted." What? Before COVID kicked, I was able to give a mini lecture. This is Edie on cult identification at a coffee house run by a friend in Allentown. Small audience, but a great response. I would have loved to have been there. Mrs. L she was at a public library in New Jersey. And it was fantastic. Absolutely, utterly fantastic. I told you I did a thing recently with a group of supposed Republican types who are very, very good. I don't think they knew half of what I was talking about because, again, they were into Newsmax and Fox News. That's what they want. I mean, it's interesting, but that doesn't do it. So anyway, well, think about this for a moment. Let me just tell you a couple of things. Please. Very, very simple. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Make sure you're aware of this. Did you read today about Bed Bath & Beyond? Bed Bath & Beyond, they're going to get rid of this guy and this guy. And Bed Bath & Beyond were the same people who decided to cave regarding a man by the name of Mike Lindell. They wanted to cave. They caved. They told him, get out, because they told him, hey, listen, he's daring to challenge the 2020 election, which basically we know now these elections are fraudulent, but they're legal. But of course we're denying the election, but it's done legally because the rules are so corrupt. So anyway, one of the things we're trying to figure out is, I wonder what they're doing. Oh, maybe if you stop acting like these, folks, and maybe just sold your stuff, like the great folks at MyPillow.com and Mike Lindell, maybe you'd be better off. So that's why I provide this to you now. Let me tell you about my great friends at MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets, MyPillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grad. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG, and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. 1 year from today is the election. 1 year from today, and I cannot begin to tell you how exciting that is. And let me also tell you something, and I do not, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but you would not believe how many people here who are eligible to vote are not going to vote. Because as you know, a lot of people, the louder people are, sometimes the more full of shite they are. And to be participatory, you have to understand how this thing works. Number one, you got to vote. Number two, you got to know how things work. And you have to be, I don't want to complain just for the sense of complaining. I want something to be changed. That's all. I don't think the people that I like are, I don't think people just say things just like, I don't really care what you do. Just, I mean, some folks do. There are some folks who I think are, I don't think they really mean it. Greta Thunberg, I don't believe she means anything of what she's saying at all. I don't believe that for a moment. My good friend Styx Hexenhammer, I think, believes what he says and wants there to be change. I think Alex Jones wants there to be change. Tucker, I'm not sure about. Elon Musk is going to be a hero. Did you hear the latest regarding Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan is going to maybe leave Spotify and go to Twitter. Joe Rogan is the most important media voice today. Joe Rogan. Let me ask you something. Do you remember a man by the name of Father Coughlin? Do you remember his name? Anybody remember Father Coughlin? Very quickly. Father Coughlin. You ever hear him? I've always heard of Coughlin. It could be pronounced Coughlin, but do you ever hear of the name Father Coughlin? You ever hear that? The name? I'm just curious. Just frame of reference. Because in terms of yep, People Socks did. Good for you. Yes. Father Coughlin at the height of in the mid-30s, he had a radio show that was the biggest thing anybody ever heard of. I'm not talking to you about in terms of whether he's right, wrong, doesn't matter. His office received up to 80,000 letters per week from listeners. It maybe, they said it was, Sheldon Marcus's author said, maybe it was 30 million a week. 80,000 letters a week. People wrote letters, telegrams. Do you think you would have this today? No. Write a letter? No. You've got your letter in your phone, in your pocket. You have the chance to say, here is the President of the United States. Look what he just did. He posted this. Wow, his office. And you can write, for example, I support you or I don't support you. Boom. And you just spoke to the President of the United States. And you were a part of this. In the old days, it would take a letter. They would write it, send it to the, go to the post office, put a stamp on it. They did it. Today, too much work. Too much work. What is the matter with us? Elon Musk. I love Elon Musk. The same way I love the Ramones. The same way I love, and I don't like the Ramones, but I like what the Ramones did. I like people what Jackson Pollock did. I like when things change. Marlon Brando changed acting like nobody's business. It changed everything overnight. Whether you like Marlon Brando or not, he changed it. The Beatles changed things overnight. There were people who were, when you go through it, you'll say, this was the most seminal moment this was transformational. And what he did was, and a lot of it is an act, and whatever, but he now has this Grok business and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is so important. Let me give you an example. In Westfield, New Jersey, there was a group of kids, young girls, who had their pictures, their faces, superimposed basically in kind of a deep fake porn. The question is, should you be held liable? Now remember, these are kids who are underage. They are underage. The CGI is a different story. Should you be punished for deep fake pornography? Manufactured, kind of think ultimate photoshopped pornography. Should you be prosecuted for this? And under what theory? Should you? I've argued this with people, and they don't see any First Amendment issue whatsoever. None. They don't see anything, nothing. They see no interest in this whatsoever. None. They see absolutely no interest in this whatsoever. I'm thinking, but don't you understand something? It's not real. It's not true. I don't care. It's wrong. Okay, but you understand that irrespective of whether what is this? Maybe there should be something called a form of libel, because it's a statement that's not true that causes ignominy and shame in a program, but it's not pornography. It's not real. That if I drew it, if I took a picture from an old Playboy magazine and took the head of Nancy Pelosi and glued it and said, here, you would look at it and say, oh, that's ridiculous. What? That's Nancy Pelosi's head. That's not Nancy Pelosi. Oh, yes, it is. No, it's not. I can tell. Come on, this woman's 20 years old or whatever. It's not Nancy Pelosi. Stop it. But if I got better at it, and I could really work it, and I could say, now look, and say, oh my God, that looks right. Well, that's fake also. How does CGI and how does artificial intelligence, or AGI, I should say, how does this work? How do we work with this in the future? Who is interested in defining what is and isn't the law? Revenge porn. What's wrong with that? Who owns it? I own it. It's my picture. You consented to it. I took a picture of you. I'm putting it out. I put out other pictures. Yeah, but you're putting that out to embarrass me. Is it extortion? Is it a lie? What is it? The law always lags behind technology. Nobody cares about this. They don't care about this. Nobody's again, because, well, I don't want to say anything again. Well, I don't know. They might tamper with my algorithm. What? You've shown me something which is important. This is important. You've shown me something today. And I mean this, and I love you for this, but you taught me something. How scared you are. You have really shown me how scared. I used to think it was just lazy. I don't think you're lazy. I think you're scared. I think you are so spooked by this. And I mean this, and I want to thank you for that. I just thought, these people are just, intellectually torpid. No, I think you're scared. I think you have been so scared for so long regarding COVID and vaccines and January 6th and Trump and everything. I think you're petrified. And you've done remote this, remote learning, remote viewing, remote. You have completely just pulled into this world, and you're frightened. You're scared. Not scared of our government. You're scared. Scared. It's a phobia. You're like somebody inside a house who is agoraphobic, who won't go outside. Can't really say what it is they're afraid of. They're afraid. I don't want to be a part. I kind of want to sit back and kind of watch. I don't know what's going on. And then you're trying to trauma-based mind control. It's also, you have been given this opportunity. This is what blows my mind more than anything else I've learned this morning. You have been given the opportunity to involve yourself in what is so important and so critical, this device where you can participate, and you won't do it. Unbelievable. Mike Tewksbury says, I'm scared of my husband-in-law. And you should. Well, there you have it, my friends. By the way, I'm providing you, this is Mrs. L's YouTube channel. She has been providing some of the best shadow ban, her numbers. I've seen it. Twitter goes up and then boop. It's like somebody has a governor. Somebody somewhere said, we're going to, just like the old governor on a car, you're not going to go past 55. You're not going to. I know this for a fact. Let me see. Look at this one. Somebody says, wow. RCMP charged me with assault and removed me from my apartment. This is incredible. I don't know what has happened regarding the world of, the world and this thing called squatters and squatters' right. I don't understand any of that. Where this came from is beyond anything I've ever seen. So, in any event, my friends, I want to make sure you understand I thank you. Please, thank you for subscribing. Let me tell you, on February the 3rd, in New York City, cutting room, doors open at 7 p.m. I got these interesting emails from people that says, I can't make it then. Can you change it? What? Can I change it? Yeah, I don't, I don't really want to. Can you? What? Hello, Mick Jagger? Yeah, not that I'm Mick Jagger. Yeah, listen, I don't like these big venues. I'm just kind of weird about this. Can you maybe? What? What? I've never seen. You want me to do what? Yeah, could you maybe? I don't want to travel. Can you come to me? It's like, can I come to you? What is this? What is this? Grubhub? I don't know. It's this. I just don't fit into this world. It's very, very strange. Okay, very, 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 very strange. And I also want to thank you for supporting Lionel Nation. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for what's going on. Also, Lynn's Warriors. Go right now on X or Twitter at Lynn's_Warriors. She needs you. You cannot. I've seen this. I have seen this somewhere. Maybe Elon doesn't know about this. Maybe maybe there's a file somewhere where Elon hasn't gotten around to it yet. But it's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. This is the most valuable stuff. Oh, and by the way, everybody's a warrior now. Everybody. They just discovered this. And by the way, you can go to lionelmedia.com and subscribe to my own private channel. That's right, my own private channel. Because everything's going to be in a paywall. Everything that's of any use. Elon's going to charge for Twitter. Absolutely. So is Facebook. If you want to do it, without a doubt. So in any event, dear friends, you have a great and a glorious day. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. And until then, remember these words: the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.